the chilly morning air wrapped around her like a cruel reminder of her loneliness. At the bus stop, she stood quietly with her backpack slung low on her shoulder, her head bowed as though trying to disappear into the cracked pavement beneath her feet. Her name was Leela, a girl with scars that told stories no one cared to hear. A childhood accident had left her with a slight limp and one arm weaker than the other. The doctors said she was lucky to be alive. But to her classmates, she wasn't lucky. They called her Broken Doll. That morning, 3 boys were already there, leaning against the rusted bus shelter, laughing too loud at jokes too cruel. As soon as they spotted her, their grins twisted into something sharp. "Look who's here. Our little broken doll," one sneered, tilting his head like a puppet master jerking invisible strings. Another limped mockingly across the sidewalk, dragging his leg in exaggerated steps, while the third clutched his arm and pretended it was useless. Their laughter echoed, stabbing into her chest. Lila clenched her fists, willing herself not to cry, not to give them the satisfaction. She had faced this before. Every day was a battle fought in silence. The stares, the whispers, the names. It wasn't her body that made her feel broken. It was the way people treated her, as though she were less than whole. That morning, though, the humiliation cut deeper than usual. She wanted to scream, to fight back, to prove she wasn't fragile. But her voice stayed trapped in her throat. Just then, the growl of engines shattered the cruel laughter. One by one, motorcycles rolled into view, their chrome catching the pale sunlight. The boys froze, their smirks faltering as a group of bikers pulled up to the curb near the bus stop. They were intimidating. Leather jackets, heavy boots, tattoos etched into their skin like battle stories. The leader, a broad-shouldered man with a scar running across his cheek, killed his engine and pulled off his helmet. His sharp eyes scanned the scene, pausing on Leela. "What's going on here?" His voice was calm but carried a weight that made the boys shuffle uneasily. "Nothing," one muttered quickly, his earlier bravado crumbling. The bikers exchanged looks, experienced men who could read lies as easily as road signs. The leader's gaze lingered on Leela again, softer this time, as though he saw through the silence she carried. "Looks like something," he said slowly, "and I don't like the sound of it." The boys stammered, trying to excuse themselves, but the gang dismounted. They weren't threatening, not directly, but their presence alone was enough to silence the mockery. The biggest of them, a man with tattoos running down his arms, crouched to Leela's level and asked gently, "You okay, sweetheart?" She hesitated, the lump in her throat tightening. For years, adults had looked away. Teachers pretended not to hear, strangers walked past, and even friends drifted off when things got uncomfortable. But here, rough men who looked like villains from a movie were the first to ask if she was okay. I'm fine," she whispered, though her trembling voice betrayed her. The leader shook his head. "Doesn't sound fine to me." He turned his attention back to the boys, his expression darkening. "Let me tell you something. You think she's weak? You're wrong. You don't know what strength is. Strength isn't about who can run the fastest or hit the hardest. It's about surviving what should have broken you." The boys dropped their eyes, their courage gone. One kicked at the dirt, mumbling an apology that sounded more like fear than remorse. Another muttered that they were just joking, but even he didn't believe it anymore. Leela's chest tightened. No one had ever defended her like this, not with words that carried weight, not with conviction. For the first time, she felt seen not as a broken doll, but as someone who had endured, who mattered. The bus pulled up just then, brakes screeching. The boys scrambled on quickly, eager to escape. Leela lingered, torn between shame and relief. The bikers didn't move until she stepped forward. The leader placed a hand on his helmet and said, "Don't ever believe the names they call you. Dolls break easy. You don't." Those words seared into her heart like fire on steel. She nodded, unable to speak, but her silence this time wasn't from fear. It was from gratitude. As the bus doors closed behind her, she watched the gang ride off, engines rumbling like thunder fading into the distance. The boys sat quiet for once, stealing nervous glances her way but saying nothing. And Leela, though her body still bore the marks of her past, sat straighter. For the first time, she felt the truth. She was stronger than the names, stronger than the stares, stronger than the weight she carried. The world would not stop being cruel overnight, and the boys might mock again another day. But now she had something they could never take away, the knowledge that she wasn't broken. She was unbreakable, And that realization, planted by the unlikely kindness of strangers in leather jackets, was the beginning of a transformation that would carry her far beyond that bus stop.